Welcome back, everybody. You know, we were bound to come across these saracinorums, guys, and a lot of people keep asking about them. When we're going to do an episode, and who am I going to have come on and talk about them? And I really couldn't think of anyone better than Boris, right? I've owned Sarah's a few different times, and I've always got them from Boris. I have they've been on my radar for since the beginning of time, to be quite honest with you. And I don't mean to bash anybody's animals, but like crested geckos, they're not all created equal. Unfortunately, I feel that some breeders produce animals that are light years ahead than other breeders. I mean, I don't know whether it's focus. People are paying more attention to what they're doing. People are more honed in on these projects. Some people don't care. Maybe I'm not sure, but I've always found Boris to have animals that are extremely attractive to me. Very symmetrical animals, big bold spots, just my type of animal, man. They're healthy, beautiful animals. And again, that's not to say that everyone else out there working with them, they're not beautiful. Animals with tiny little spots aren't beautiful. Animals without spots are beautiful. I mean, to each his own, you know. Without any further ado, let's bring a personal friend of mine, Mr. Boris of BB's Crested Geckos, onto the show to talk to us today about sarasinorums. One of the most underrated, underappreciated New Caledonian geckos that are available in the hobby today, in my opinion. So what's up, brother? How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good.
Living the
Regular
life?
day. Playing with geckos, welding some stuff too.
There you go. Who doesn't
Yeah.
love a welder, right? Who doesn't love just sitting around melting metal together, right? All
Yeah.
right, so today we're going to talk about these sarasinorums, and I know you're a plethora of information and know everything about just about every species of New Caledonian geckos.
Everything.
But today we're going to focus on these animals. I think it's no secret that we both feel that these things are a little underappreciated and underrated. They're one of those animals that are just so rewarding to own if you have them. I mean, they're incredible animals, intelligence. They're like a Chihuahua meets crested gecko type of. I really
Yep.
don't even know how to explain them, dude. They're just
No, that's a good way to
a
explain
very
it.
unique animal and one that will always be in my collection. I will always have sarasinorums. And how did you fall into them? When did you discover them? When were you like? Tell us about your history and with sarasinorums, how it all fell together.
So I got into crested geckos in 2012. I started breeding them in 2013, and probably in 2014 is when I discovered sarasinorum. They were not many in the hobby, and the ones that were around weren't the greatest quality. Like some had a couple of spots, but nothing like super nice. So like more like basic stuff. I do remember purchasing some of my first Sarah's at the White Plains show and producing some. They definitely don't get enough love. I have a Facebook page, Sarah's Don't Get Enough Love, because the truth, they
Check it
don't
out,
get enough
guys.
love.
Check
They
it
are
out. Sign up
awesome.
for the group. It's an awesome group. Boris
Yeah,
runs
definitely
it.
sign up for that group. It's just for
Sarasinorums
fun.
don't get enough love.
Yeah, it's just for fun. Post your Sarah's, talk about Sarah's, just for fun. I personally love Sarah Sonorum. I have one actually tattooed on my arm. I don't know if you guys can see or not,
There you go.
but I have one tattooed on my arm.
Uh,
That's actually Gumby, and Gumby, I'll show you guys him in a little bit. He's here with us. I got 4 different Saras to show you guys. Some of the nicer white spot, white collar that I've produced, and then a normal female, just to show you guys the difference of what a white collar Saracen looks like
sure, for
compared to
sure,
a normal or a blonde, they would call them back in the
sure.
day. When I first got into Sarah's in 2014, there really wasn't many spotted ones available, and if they were, they weren't the best quality. Most people had the normals or the blonde. They're basically like a brown color, but some of them do come in different variations, like a caramel. I have a friend who's been working, Carl Vargas, has been working really hard with trying to make some really cool normals, but they look like caramel and different patterns, stuff like that. They don't have the
Yeah,
white blotches, which of course everybody loves, but they are very cool looking. I personally like working with big white blotches, big white collars. That's something that I definitely strive to do. I imported some animals from Europe at some point to get some more big white blotches, big white collars. I have selectively bred and held back a lot of really nice sarasinorum to produce better sarasinorum. I probably have about 8, 9, 10 groups of Saras, maybe 11, 10 or 11 groups of Saras. I say groups because I keep 2 females to 1 male. I have found that they don't have any issues. Like Chewies, the females fight, but the Saras, they don't. I never
Okay.
had any issues with females being aggressive towards each other. I keep a 1.2 successfully, and I have for many, many years. I tried giving them a little bit more UVB like the Chewies need, but I didn't see any difference in the egg production or their health in any way. So I do not provide UVB for my Saras, but I do for my Chihuahua. So
So who was
let's
working
say
with
that's
these
a
things
cool
back in
time.
2013 when you got in? Who were the main breeders working with them?
There weren't many. I do believe I purchased a few from Leap and Leachies. Uh, I do believe I might have purchased 1 or 2 from uh, who's that person in Canada? Royal Racks, I think it is. Royal Racks. I purchased a few from Canada. I really just searched out for them. They were very hard to find. They're not as frequently kept like Chihuahua or Crested Geckos are, and they're honestly much cooler than Crested Geckos and a Gargoyle, in my opinion. You kind of hit on the head when you said they're kind of both Chewy and Crested together because they get size, they get the intelligence, but they also, are just as cool and as colorful, just different variations. I personally love them. I'm going to show you some cool
Yeah,
ones.
there's so
I have
many
some really badass ones I'm going to show
misconceptions.
you guys.
That's one of the main reasons I wanted to do this podcast too. Is that I try not to get aggravated with anything that anybody says. It's just people talk, right? And I can't let something that someone says get me in my feelings with something I know. And I always hear this. People, I feel like because they are a little pricey, right? Like they're not a cheap animal. They're not like a crested gecko. And I don't know that they're necessarily as expensive as some chihuahuas can be, but they fall in that range where you have to be committed, right? You have to want this animal to spend as much money as they cost. It has to be something you want. And I often feel that people will maybe put too much faith into a rumor or a myth to convince themselves to not spend the money. Like, oh, I'd have them, but they're super flighty. Or I'd have them, but they drop their tails too much. I'd have them, but and then it's always like these things that I'm like, damn. Like I own them. Like I have them, not one, not two, 3 of them, right? 3 different personalities, 3 completely different animals, and none of them are anything that you are saying they are. So if you don't want to spend the money, say, hey, listen, I'm not willing to spend the money on an animal that there's not much known about, or there's not much I can do with, or something. Say something else, but don't say that they're not handleable. I mean, they're
Yeah.
arguably out of my 3 Saras and say 150 crested geckos at any given time. I don't care who you are. Any 3 of them Saras is more handleable than any crested gecko you pull out of the cage. They're and maybe that's because I hold them a lot. Maybe it's because I work with them a lot, but I do my crested geckos too. Like it's, that whole they're not handleable thing is a myth, guys. It's a bogus myth. Like any animal, if you
They
don't
can be
show them
flighty though,
attention and you
Anthony.
don't hold them, then they're going to be spastic and nervous and scared. But if you can desensitize them by holding them and working with them like you would your crested geckos or your leechies or your chuas or your guards, they're the same damn thing. And it's sad that people have to make rumors up because I feel like it kills the popularity when people say these things because that the mob mentality of humans is like, oh, one big name says that they're flighty and they drop their tails. Next thing you know, there's 15 threads on social media. You can't get Sarah's because they're flighty and they drop their tails. Well, I don't know personally, but I know somebody that does know somebody that said they do. It's like you're
Yeah.
freaking screwing the animals over.
So I don't get a lot of tail loss, so that can be ruled out for sure. I don't remember. I mean, I have had a recent tail loss on a female, but she was nuts, so nuts. Like she was just going crazy in the cage. She was spooked out for some reason. I don't know why. I came back next morning, the tail was off, and I think she even ate it. To be honest with you, I couldn't find it. So it
They do
happens.
grow them back too, right?
They
Sarahs
do
will
grow
grow their
back.
tails back.
Sarasons grow back full tails. That's 100% right. Yep. They won't be perfect like they was before, but they'll still grow back. Like a gargoyle. You can kind of see it's a regen tail, But the flightiness, so I'm going to take some out right now, and some of them will be a little flighty. And that's because, well, it's about time for them to eat and for them to wake up, and they're probably going to be bugging out a little bit. But once you give them a chance to settle down, they're going to chill out. Same like any crested gecko or chihuahua would sometimes. They can be a little bit more flighty than some of the other geckos sometimes, but then again, I have some that are not. Like I have Gumby at one point, not Gumby, but actually, who was it? Misty sat on my shoulder for a whole live one time. I did a live on Instagram, I think it was, and she sat on my shoulder the whole time, just hanging out there, and didn't really do anything, just kind of sat there. So it does matter how much work you put into them. Where
For
it
sure.
comes to the same thing with any animal, the more work you put into them, the more handleable they're gonna be.
The only gecko that lasted a whole podcast, I think it was the episode I did before last, was with Slevin, the male I got from you. Sat on the brim of my hat and crawled down to my shoulder for 2.5 hours. He didn't go anywhere. He stayed right here.
What kind?
Sarah from you, the
Oh,
male.
the Sara. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I believe
Oh,
it.
it's on the interwebs. It's there. I got the proof.
Yeah, the proof.
No, they just again, maybe I don't even want to say that I handle them more than anyone would, than I handle anything else, because I really don't. But I just feel that it's like anything else. You have to desensitize them.
I
Yeah.
just took Gumby out. He hasn't been out for more than even a couple of seconds. He's just hanging out on my hand, staring at me. This is the gecko that
Oh,
I have tattooed on my arm. And this is also the gecko on my logo.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, he's a cool
So
male.
so when you first got into the hobby, you were saying that there wasn't many of the white collars and white spots, and when did all that start taking off? When did people realize that it was something to that could be done? I mean, was it relatively early on that you realized you could breed them to enhance these characteristics, or
So I mean, like LAC Herps had some nice ones at the time. See, look, he's getting a little jumpy. He's not that bad. LAC Herp had some really nice white collar stuff. We all knew that it was possible, just it was very expensive at the time. The nice white collar stuff was $3, $4, $5, $6,000 per animal, even as a small, baby in 2013, 2014. So I purchased animals that had little spots or some spots, and then bred those, kept the babies, and then grew them out, and then bred those and kept the babies, and then grew them out, and so on and so forth, and then bought a male here or bought a male there, and then so on and so forth. So through the years, I have perfected my groups because at some point I had a lot of patternless, and now I have very few. I recently had a buddy of mine get out of Sarah's, and he gave me a bunch of patternless females, and I just put them into my group where I had 1.1s. I made 1.2s just to keep the adult Sarah's breeding. But other than that, I usually just bred for white spots. But I like having normals or blondes because it is the instructory animal for the Sarahs. Baby blonde goes for $150, $200, something like that. So it's a little more affordable than a baby
it's
white
not
collar
bad.
where they start at 350, 400, 450. That's already something with like a couple little spots, and then up from there where it comes to really nice spots. Like a baby like Gumby here would probably go for close to $800 or $900 for a baby with nice big white spots like him and an
Mm.
elongated collar. People like the elongated spots and elongated collars. That's something people really like and look for.
So how do these spots work? Is it a gene? Is it like a single dominant recessive type thing? Like, can you have a blonde that's het for spots?
Yeah.
Like, how does that whole thing work? I'm like so terrible with these geckos and
No,
genetics
it's
and
totally
stuff.
good.
Like, I'm
So
like,
I do have a pair, um, and that is it's a white collar male and a blonde female, and I get usually mostly all white collar with spots and maybe one blonde out of the whole season because she comes from parents that were white collar to a normal.
so
So
it's
she's got
likely a
some of
gene.
the genetics in her, and then he's a visual, I guess you would consider it, and his genetics overpower. So I only get like one or two normals for the season from them.
Can you get them with collars
Yeah,
without spots?
yeah, there are some, and that just means that animal carries more of that white collar gene and will more likely have more babies that are white collar than not with a white collar.
So what I'm getting at is, are they the same? Are they the same gene, or are they two different genes, the collar and the spots, or is it just a different expression of the same gene or
Just say it's the
trait?
same gene, just more of it. You know what I mean? It's still the
Just
white
different
collar
expression,
gene. Yeah, just showing more or
higher
bigger spots or
expression.
more spots. So this guy's pretty
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay.
They're something special, man.
And
People.
some of them have these little Dalmatian spots too. Can you see the Dalmatian spot on his
Yeah,
back?
yep. My male does. Yeah.
Yeah, some of them have the little
Actually,
Dalmatian
no.
spot.
One of my females does. Copy has a big black spot on her back that's always there. 'Cause these things fire up and down, guys. Like anything else from New Caledonia, they'll get super dark and then they almost get pale, and they're very cool.
The girl I got growing out, she got a cool spot on her tail. This is a normal or a
She's
blonde.
big,
Yeah, she's almost ready to breed.
very big. How much do these? How much? How heavy do they get?
That's a good question. So I usually try to breed them at about 70 grams. 70 grams, I feel like that's when they're an adult. Anything below that, they're not adults yet. She got a really cool spot on her hand. Check this out. He's all spotted up this one.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something that could be worked into them, man.
So
Dalmatian
there is somebody
sarasinorum.
working for more spots. I actually once seen a Sara where it was all covered in a bunch of spots. Looked like a super Dalmatian Sara is what it
Really?
looked like. Yeah, that
Huh.
was pretty cool. She's actually grabbed. She's probably about to drop her first set of duds. Yeah, I could feel
Is
her
there
in her
any
belly.
sexual dimorphism with them? Do the males look other than like the hemipenal bulge and everything? Is there any
No,
visual differences? Do the males get bigger? Do females get bigger? Is it just
no, I
random?
don't think there's any sexual dimorphism in any of the New Caledonian species because I can't find it. I have some females that are larger than some males, and then vice versa. So no, it doesn't make a difference. It all depends on how much of a fat ass they are, how much they eat, how much they want to eat. So yeah, like I have some Saras that are big on bugs and some that are not. They just want the Pangea. They don't care about bugs. They don't want to even be bothered. And then some that will just eat anything I throw in the cage. So it all depends like of the personality of the gecko. Same like all the other New Caledonian geckos. How they eat is depending how big they'll get. Like Gumby is a pretty big boy. I'll show you some other boys now, and you'll see he's much bigger. But he's also a year older than these boys here, so he's got a year in age on them. You know what I mean?
What do you know about these guys in the wild? Where from New Caledonia do they hail? Are they from everywhere? They find them everywhere in New Caledonia? Is there any specific mountain ranges, or where? What do you know about them in the wild, if anything?
I believe it's Pine Island. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. I thought it was Pine Island, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I remember reading somewhere that it's the Pine Island where they were all found.
Well, I'd love to go there, man. I like want to just put a
This is a
visual
little
to so
flighty.
much.
Hold it back so much. He's a little flighty, understandable. But this guy's a badass. This guy's a 12 spot. I don't know if anybody else has a 12 spot, but this guy's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is he breeding yet or no?
No, he's right about to. That female that I showed you that's getting ready to, drop some duds, she's going to be for him. And I have one more nice female for him. He's pretty cool. When he hatched out, I'm like, no way is he a 12 spot.
I think I remember when that thing hatched, man.
Yeah, I think I showed him to you.
I
People
think
some
I
people try to
remember
buy
that.
him from me. I was like, nah, let him stay here and make more babies. I just like looking at him, honestly. The symmetry of the spots are just awesome. See, look, he was flighty, and
No,
now look, he got super slow,
and
and
that's
now he's
one
just
thing that I
chilling.
always tell people, because I'm always preaching about your sarasinorum to people. Like, yo, when people are looking and asking, I'm like, yo, check out BB's Crested Geckos, man. Like, the symmetry thing is what sells me. Like, all of mine, yes, there's 4 spots on some side on one of them and 3 on the other, but for the most part, they're so symmetrical. The size of them, the placement of the spots, you don't see that with a lot of other people's. And that's, it shouldn't drive me nuts. It doesn't have to because I don't buy them. But
Look,
when I'll see
he's got a
some
spot
people
on his
selling
neck
an
too.
animal for like $1,500 and it has 3 little dots and 2 big dots and they're like almost all over, like scattered. I'm like, that's just not what we should be you shouldn't be looking for. Like, there's so much more that could be done. I get it, spots, but there's more to it than just spots. Like I said, the size of the spots, the placement of the spots, the symmetry of the spots, there's just so much that I feel like could be done, and I'm curious about so much of it.
You're 100% right. People do look for that. People do look for the symmetry. People do look for the size of the spot. Size of the spot is a big thing. The bigger the spots, people go crazy for the huge, big spot and stuff like that mail that you got from me. Like people like stuff like that, people go crazy for.
For
And
sure.
I think they're definitely gonna. I feel like they do hold their value because they're not so mass populated. They breed like chewies, so you're not gonna get a ton of eggs like crested geckos. You're gonna have to wait 4 months for it to hatch, and you're only gonna get a handful of eggs a season. So they're not the easiest to breed. That's why we don't have tons of babies. We actually have no babies available right now. I have one adult
Really.
male that I'm still kind of teetering whether I want to sell him or not. He's pretty cool. I can show you guys. He's the only Sara I have available right now. All the other Saras from last year sold.
So I was gonna ask, how have they been moving at your shows? You vend a lot, you put a lot of animals out there. Do they stick around, or they pretty much fly as soon as they hit the table?
I mean, they don't fly, but like I had about 6, I think, available starting in January, and I think we sold out in March.
Do you
Yeah, we
find that
sold out the
it's
Saras in March.
new people? Like, what type of people are people buying them? Are they like crested gecko owners, people that own crested geckos, or these people that don't own any geckos that are coming to buy them? What type of customers are grabbing these things from you?
You got a little bit of both. Like I had a normal, and a guy bought it off a morph market. It was his first one. He just really wanted one. It was only $200 plus shipping, so he grabbed it, and he really loves it. He's sending me updates all the time. Some other people, I sold one to another guy I met at a show here locally, and he stopped by, gave me a deposit for it, said, "Hey, I'm gonna pay it off." It was a really nice one. Actually, a brother to the one you got. It was the one that had the smiley face on it, and he's still paying it off. He's got a payment plan going. He's almost done. And then the other one, Mina Kim from Florida took one. Took one of the nice males, and I believe she took a baby as well. So I guess it'd be like a lychee breeder, I guess, or a crested. She does crested as well. And who else? I don't remember the other one. Another vendor took one. Another vendor. Mostly people who already have them, I guess. So yeah, not so many new people. More people who already have new Caledonian geckos that want something a little bit different. It's not a little bit not the same as all the rest of their
I
geckos.
want more myself. I want a blonde just for a pet. Like, I don't care to
Yeah, for
breed
sure.
them, but for some reason I just
So
want
the
a
blonde I
blonde one.
showed you was pretty average. There are some blondes that are just super caramelly and blotchy and this and that. I have one female, but she's super gravid. I don't want to pull her out of the cage. I wanted to show you guys, but she's super gravid, like literally about to drop eggs any second. So I'm gonna leave her alone. But she's got some nice. You see her on my Instagram. She got some nice caramel spots on her back. That's kind of like what I said. Carl works on that to give more of that kind of caramelly look, that two-tone normal, not like that because you do have basic ones where just like the one I showed you, where she's just a basic brown color and has some Dalmatian spots or something like that. And she'll fire up,
Yup.
fire it down a little more yellowish, fire it up a little more brownish. That's pretty much it.
How old do these bad boys got to be till you breed them? What is like your you going
That's a
by
great
weight? You
question.
going by? I know you said weight, 70 grams, but what are you talking about age? What is it? See, this animal is freaking beautiful, Boris.
I can't see. I got the camera flipped around.
Oh man, it's your post. It's
And
this
oh, my post, my post.
caramel
Okay, yeah.
blotchy.
The normal, the blonde, yeah. She's
Yeah,
super
man,
nice.
she's not a speck of white on her, but there's no denying how
But she's
beautiful
cool
that
looking though,
animal
right?
is.
That's
They're
definitely
not
cool
like
too.
this. Do they all get kind of blotchy like that?
No, that's what I'm saying. Some do, some don't. Like this female I had here doesn't. She just kind of like a brown color. That's it. And she goes fires up, fires down, and that's it. Some get that cool color to them, so that might be another morph we don't really know about. We've been kind of breeding them all as normals, but it could be another
Yeah.
morph in them that Carl is working on trying to get more of. You know what I mean? I breed that female to a white collar, so I just make some really nice white collars out of that one. I got one more male I really want to show you guys. I call it
Yeah,
the
show
emoji.
him here.
This one's called emoji.
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 He's got some type of face on him.
You see it?
Huh.
It's actually
Yeah,
look at
that's
two
cool.
faces. One's upside down. One's right side up, one's
Yeah.
upside down.
Wow, that thing's not far away from having one of those Chihuahua chamber numbers.
All right? Yeah, the straight.
Yeah. I believe that is possible too. I believe that there's going to be more. There's more of that on the horizon for people.
The full striping on the Sara is definitely going to happen soon. A lot of people are
Yeah.
working on it, trying to make it happen. I mean, I'm going to try to breed him to a long spotted female as well. But I don't have anything close to like some of the stuff that Chihuahua Chamber has. His stuff turns out really cool. And it's just a gene that he keeps hitting. But I'm sure if I keep breeding animals like this to more animals like this, I'm going to get one too pretty soon.
What's one of the cool things about these? There's so few people working with them, and there's just not enough known, right? Like there's
Check out
so
the
much
cool
to
white
still be
dashes on the side
discovered.
too. They got this like cool
Uh,
white dash underneath like the whole body. See it?
uh for sure.
And this male doesn't have like a super thick collar up on top. It kind of like almost disappears.
It's long though, but
Yeah, it's cool looking though.
so I think that's something. When that collar runs into the first set of dots, like it's like a good animal to work with for the line project.
Again the same thing. This was a male. I didn't need another male, but it was so cool. I had to keep him.
Oh, so you did breed him? You made him?
Yeah, this is one I produced. Yeah, all three males I showed you I produced. The normal female that I just showed you was one that I got in that recent package from a buddy of mine who was getting out. He gave me all his Saras. And I kept all the females, kept most of the males. I have one of his males available. That's the one male I have available. But this is a badass male. I can never sell this guy. This guy's got a super cool smiley face, and then the other one smiley face upside down.
That's awesome. So how are you keeping them? I know you said you're keeping them 1.2s, but how are you housing them? Like you doing a bioactive number? You doing bins? How do you keep them, and
I
how do
don't
you
believe in
suggest
doing.
a fail-proof way for someone to keep?
Yeah, so I don't believe in keeping any animals bioactive unless it's a pet. If you're breeding animals, keeping bioactive makes it very difficult to find the eggs and will lessen your chances of being successful in breeding that animal because you're not going to sure if you're going to catch the eggs in time because of the substrate the way it is with bioactive. I keep a jungle mix on the floor, and that's their lay box is where they lay. That's where give about 1.5 to 2 inches worth of that jungle mix. My jungle mix is what I call a jungle mix, but pretty much it's cypress mulch mixed with cocoa husk, and I do a 60-40 mix, 60% cocoa, 40% cypress mulch, and that gives it kind of like a jungle floor, you know what I mean, jungle mix.
Yeah.
And then I do a lot of vertical tubes because they like to run in and out of those tubes. So I'll do 3 or 4 big tubes so they can all hang out together, or they can get away from each other if they want. I do a side dish with food and water, and just some greenery. That's it. Super simple, super nice. Nothing. I'm looking at a cage right now, so I'm saying that. So they all have like a magnetic ledge, a bunch of rounds, maybe a flat on the back if they can get behind there, and that's it. And they honestly they're communal, so you'll find them just snuggling together. All three of them would just be in one cork on top of each other like a pile up. They're
Are you
pretty cool.
misting them more than other new cow species? Do you keep them any different as far as humidity, or are you doing everything pretty much the same as you would for like a
Yeah,
Chihuahua or something?
yeah, pretty much the same. We do spray, so I have misting systems. My misting systems go on every 2 days, so I skip a day and then spray, then skip a day and then I spray. So I'm getting it pretty much every other day, and I spray for about 20 seconds. So they just get a nice big mist of water. So they get some hydration in them. They lick up some water. They shed well like that, and you can see these guys are all nice and fat and plump.
People fail to realize the importance of a dry out period. Cannot keep these animals wet all the time. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, 100%.
they don't
And I
live
also
on the forest floor. They deal with constant spikes and raises of humidity.
Yeah, I fight also high humidity because I'm in the basement. So during the day, I'll open up some windows. I'll get circulation going because I don't want it too humid. And that's why I
Uh,
end up spraying every other day because it's pretty humid in the basement. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
I kind of get a benefit from it because I don't have to spray as much because I have a high humidity already in the basement. But then at the same time, if I spray too much, it's going to be too humid. So it's a fine line you got to play with. People are like, oh, why can't I put a baby in a big screen open top enclosure? Well, because babies have very small, delicate nostrils and they'll dry out and they won't smell their food and then they won't eat and then they'll die. People don't realize that. But on a big adult cage, you don't have to worry about an adult, not smelling their food. Their nostrils have been, they're already grown to the full adult capacity. So you don't have to worry about them not being able to smell their food or needing that super high humidity. So you can get away with it. You're like, oh, I'm going on vacation for the weekend. How do I spray my geckos? They'll be fine. You spray them on Monday when you get home. they're not going to die from not getting sprayed every 3 days or every 2 days. They'll be fine.
I was going on kicks, man, where I was like, I had this like strict regimen where I had to feed like 3 days a week. And I mean, not for nothing, but they don't, I mean, not just particularly my Saras, but my whole collection. They don't eat as much as you think they would. Like, I waste
They're
more
reptiles.
food than they eat.
People don't realize reptiles can go weeks without eating.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
the wild, reptiles can go weeks without eating.
Sure.
My chameleon, I
tell
recently
people
brought
all
my
the time.
chameleon upstairs from my gecko room. He went off eating for like a week. I'm like, no problem, buddy. You're the one gonna be hungry, not me. I'm not
Famine is a lot more natural than feast in the wild. These things go without food a lot longer than they go with it. You know, it's very natural. And I believe that it's almost to a degree healthy. I mean, fasting is healthy for humans and in cell rejuvenation. I mean, fasting is a natural process. You know, it's we're not doing them any justice by keeping these animals super overweight. Do you find that Sarah's, and this is just a rumor that I've heard, I haven't experienced it, but do you find that Sarah's are prone to getting a little chunky?
So yes, Saras can get a little overweight, and I do believe there will decrease in egg production if they get a little too chunky. So yeah, it is possible. But I have seen the same thing with crested geckos though too at the same time. You know what I mean? And I've seen it with chewies as well. I had this one chewie, she's 94 grams, and she doesn't produce a lot, but she produces. I don't really stress it too much. As long as she's happy, I'm fine with it. You know what I mean? Let her eat the way she wants to eat. I'm not gonna feed that one less because she's a little chunky. Everybody eats how they want to eat, and then when breeding season comes, whoever produces, and that's it. Whatever the gecko gods give me, I'll take. I'm not gonna not feed a certain gecko because she's chunky. You know what I mean? I just feed them all the same, and that's it. People, but it is true that if they get too heavy, and they don't have enough insects, they get lazy and they don't want to produce.
Well, speaking of breeding season, do you take any protocols? Is there anything you do to get them ready for breeding season? Is there like a change in light periods? Do you have to do a temp drop? Is there anything that you do to trigger the breeding season for them, or is there a how do you breed? Walk us through your whole breeding process or your breeding season, if you will.
I lower the light, I put on a little Barry White, and they start doing it. No, I'm just kidding. So typically, I'll go pretty cold to about 60 to 65 degrees in the winter, and we'll ride that 60 to 65 degrees pretty much all the way to like January. Beginning of February, I start warming up the room a little bit to 72, 73, and keeping a little, not 73, around 70, 72, I guess, 70. And then that's when they'll start naturally starting to breed, in my opinion, in February. And that's why in like March, April, May, I start getting a lot of eggs. That's why I usually see the season.
Are
And
these
like,
guys burying? Do they bury their eggs or are they gluers?
no, they bury them.
They do.
Yeah, they bury them.
What do you experience with what's your experience with the Chihuahuas, man? Because I this is like my real first season of getting eggs, and I've got maybe like I don't know 18 Chihuahua eggs already. But
18?
I've gotten a lot more. A whole tackle box is full, and it's 20 sun spots, and it's almost full. So I guess 18, somewhere 15 to 18 eggs. Are there? I get a lot more Chihuahua gluing their eggs in cork tubes and bamboo hollows than I do burying them.
So they are known to do that sometimes, but I have seen both. But yeah, they are
Really?
gluers. A trick for the glue: just moisten the eggs with some water, and it'll come off.
Yeah. I'm
It's
on them
great.
like flies on shit, dude. These things can't lay an egg without me knowing about it. I'm every morning I'm looking at them. I know every day where everyone's gonna be, and the second something's off, I already know what's up, man. I'm like I really didn't want to get into it, but I'm like obsessive with these things, like OCD with my
I'm
Chihuahua.
glad you're having so much
I
fun.
waited so many years. Huh?
I'm glad you're having so much fun. Wait till the babies start hatching.
They have, bro. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 babies already.
From this season,
I
nice.
lost one, man. I lost one.
From
I
the
lost
from
one. I
season?
lost one in a freaking egg, man. I don't know what the hell happened. I had noticed the egg
It
was
happens.
super fat in the morning, right? They were both super fat because I look at the eggs in the morning, and I look at them at nighttime, and it was super fat. When I came home, it was half the size of the one next to it. So I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" I panicked. I pulled it out. The egg was soft. I squeezed it a little bit. Nothing was moving. I panicked. I cut the egg open. Fucking thing was dead, man. He couldn't get out. So I panicked and I cut the egg next to it. Like, yo, not losing this one. This one was ready to roll. I'm cutting this one out. He's thriving, living, growing. He's fine. But I'm assuming he probably would have hatched
You
fine. But
can't blame it on yourself. Just understand that nature is nature, and sometimes you'll have weak specimens, and weak specimens
dude,
will not make it out of the egg. That's just how it is.
killed me, bro.
I just had
Killed
it
me
last
to lose
night.
that
Last
thing.
night I go into the incubator, and I see one lychee out. Oh, nice! I pull lychee out, and then I see the one right next to it. This poor little lychee stuck his head out and got stuck. Could not get out to the point where his eyes were bulging. He could not get out, and he died because he didn't cut the egg enough, and he couldn't get out.
That's it. Sucks, man. It's not. It's like it's a punch in the gut for sure,
Yeah,
man. That
man.
And
messed
then
me
the
up.
same thing, like you just said, and I'm looking at that same tray, and I see another egg kind of deflated. I rip it open. I'm already a beast. I just pull it open with my thumbnail. That's how good I am now. And I open it up and didn't even try to get out. Just couldn't get out. It wasn't strong enough to get out, and it died inside the egg. Same thing. Threw it out. Couldn't do anything. So I had two live lychee babies, two dead lychee babies last night. That's how it is. Nature. You're not gonna get them all. Not every single egg will hatch. Some eggs will not be good. It's just part of the game. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah, man.
I've had it where I've had one dud, one good, one branch to each other. I've had it once where with Sarah's. I had one dud, one good, and the one good had two babies in it, twins.
That's awesome. I've seen that with the Saras a couple times, and not many other
Yeah,
species.
sure.
It's super weird, man. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's cool.
It's
That's
cool,
a
yeah.
story to tell.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool
That's
story to tell. Yeah, exactly.
very cool. So what's when you once you hatch out a Sarah, what would you tell someone? How would you recommend or suggest someone raises a Sarah? Walk us through purchasing a sarasinorum. You know, from how big do you sell them? Like what, 5 grams, 8 grams? How big would
Right.
like a baby be that you sell?
Yeah, like 5 grams. I guess 30 days old, probably about 5 grams.
All right. So how
So
should someone house it, feed it? What should someone expect if they buy a baby Sarah?
I keep a
There you
baby
go.
in this. This is what I keep baby Sarah in. This is what I raise it in probably for the first probably about 6 months, maybe a little bit more.
Nice.
Got some holes on the side there, and just a lid,
Nice.
Sarah-like container, super easy. A cork or a coconut hut in there, some greenery. Always a bowl of water, distilled. I'm sorry. Now I found out distilled is no good. RO or bottled water, so they get some water in there, and then a Pangea cap, 1 cap of each.
How often? How often are you feeding them?
I feed every 2 days. Every 2 days. Yeah, every 2 days. Always skip
Are you
48 hours.
rotating
So-
like is there a specific weight you'll wait for when it comes to feeding them bugs? How big will you wait until you start offering like a baby Sarah bugs?
I use the rule. I use the 6 month rule for all my babies. I try to have them on Pangea for at least the first 6 months. I may try to throw crickets in here or there, but I do try to keep them on at least 3 to 6 months on Pangea. So you know that eating the Pangea really well. But listen, if they are interested in it and you want to offer it at 2 months, that's totally fine too. I wouldn't do it at 1 month old. 1 month old, I want to get them at least used to the Pangea first. So 3 months at the minimum, I'd say. What are you squeaking? He just squeaked at me a little bit. He's getting aggravated. I keep moving him around.
Are there?
Yeah, he made a noise. He made.
Awesome. How
Yeah,
long
we
do they
talked
live
to-
for? Do you know anything about their life expectancies?
They like chewies, about 25 years.
No shit.
Yeah, they like chewies. I think my
Now, what
any-
about incubation? Are they temperature, sex dependent, determined,
They-
or
they are all New Caledonian
Really?
are temperature sex. The hotter you
Really?
go, the more males you'll get.
and what are those temperatures? What do the temps look like?
So I currently incubate at 70 to 72 degrees. I'm always want to try to get for more females. Anything over 73, 74, you're gonna get male.
Yeah, I got my incubator at 75 degrees.
You're gonna get all males on everything. Not all. You're gonna get 60 to 70% males.
Damn, I better change that because I got all my freaking Chihuahuas are in there. I don't keep everything in the incubator, just the lychees, the chewies, and like very specific crested gecko pairings I put in there. I was getting too big of temperature swings in my room, I got nervous, so I put them in there for probably last couple weeks now, maybe 2 weeks they've been in there. I just feel like they grow so much faster. They all have those dark colored eyes. Have you ever seen any like eye mutations? I've seen a couple people posting like pictures of phantom-eyed or dark-eyed Saras, but I'm like, mine have dark eyes. Like they're not. They all have dark eyes.
Yeah, they all have dark eyes. I'm looking at them now. No, they all pretty much have the same eyes. They're like
Right? Yeah, I've seen listings on Morph Market of like dark-eyed, phantom-eyed Saras. I'm like, don't they all?
Yeah, they all have dark eyes. I don't know why. I don't know why they would write that. I don't know why.
What's up with Domino? You still got Domino in the mix over there?
What?
You still have Domino in the mix over there?
Yeah, you want to see Domino?
Man, that girl, that was, man.
You want to see her? Hold on, I'll get her for you.
Yeah, if you got time, if you want to grab her, that'd be cool to see. This gecko Domino is a gecko that I purchased from Boris. And I was really honing in on my Chihuahua thing. Chihuahuas are something I had a passion for a long time, but I wound up buying a whole bunch of Chihuahuas, probably like 10 or 15 at that juncture. But I really was focusing on them, and I had one Sara, and I had all these off would-be pairs, and I raised them all from babies from like 6 grams to 4 years old before I paired most of them, 3.5 to 4 years old before I paired my Chihuahuas. And I had to make a judgment call. I was going to sell this gecko to buy a female Chihuahua. Boris wound up trading me 2 female Chihuahuas for this one sarasinorum Domino. And the second I put her in a box, I didn't put her in a box, I brought her. I was so worried about her, I wouldn't ship her. I bought him to him at the show. The second I got rid of her, I hated myself. Look at her, man. She's beautiful. Spots aren't huge, but the symmetry and the saturation, and she has these dark rings around her spots.
She does, and she got one little spot in the middle there, one little Dalmatian spot.
Damn, I love her, man. I know she's not everything you would shoot for as far as like size and whatnot, but she's my idea of like a perfect. She's perfect.
I think she's ready. I've been fattening her up. I think she's ready to go, though.
I love her. If I could make every Sara look like her, I'd never complain.
And since she's yours, you get to choose which male she goes with. Does she go with the emoji male, or does she go with the 12-spot male?
12 spot. She'd be better with the 12 spot. She needs something with longer spots. 12 spot all day, and I bet you get more 12 spots with her.
Let's see them together. Well, he's got a cool head on him. Check out the head on this guy. It goes like a peach color. Make good pair. Good parent.
I think so. I think so. They make more of a better pair than the long spots. You need something special for him. Something with like, oval spots or something that's, where those areas almost. When you see him fire down to a degree, you can almost see where those spots are broken up into quadrants on the animal's back. They'll almost have like a square around where the white spots are. I don't know how to explain it, but I can see when they fire down, they're like sections. Yeah, man, I think that's a great pair.
I think she's a couple of more grams shy of being ready. I think she's at like 68 or 69 last time I checked this. So
she hasn't laid any duds or anything yet then, huh?
No, nothing. I've been looking. She's actually roommates with this blonde girl. They've been hanging out together. Her and the blonde. But they're both gaining fast though. They're both chunkers. Look how fat they both are. Let's actually check her right now if she got any duds in her. Oh, she's got some duds in her.
Just like bold she is, man. I mean, I know the other one's fine.
She's got some duds in her now, so as soon as she drops those duds, I'll probably pair them. As long as she's got the weight. I look, they're holding tails.
She's beautiful.
I'll put her back. Yeah, man. So they are definitely one of my favorites for sure.
What do you think the future looks like for Saras in the hobby? You think they stay one of those niche animals, or do you think they go mainstream and get as popular as Chihuahuas? I think it would, if someone can produce something like full lines or full lines down their back or something completely, and give someone,
they have,
I don't know what you would call it, but something to work for. I don't think it would take much to take them to the next level of popularity, to be completely honest.
So I agree with you. They definitely should be more mainstream. It's so hard to produce, and it's so little of them out in the hobby. I think they're always going to be kind of niche. That's the
So
honest
you
truth.
keep saying that they're hard to produce. What do you do? What do you have any tricks? Do you have any advice? Any suggestions? Like I know we've talked about how to pair them, what they do, but what makes it complicated? What can we do to increase the production of these things? What have you learned after all these years? What are you doing to get more animals now than you were in the beginning?
More pairs. You really can't force an animal to produce good eggs. It's going to produce whatever it can. The overweight factor definitely does come into play. I was feeding a lot more frequently when I was living in Staten Island, and I feel like now that we feed a little bit less, I get more egg production because I'm not as fat. Because they're big fat animals don't want to breed. They don't want to be bred. They don't want anything to do with it. But the one that's a little more lean, they'll be more willing to breed and they'll produce better eggs. I definitely do give bugs a lot more than I did before, so that gives them kind of a little more of that protein. I don't mind if I skip one day. I'm not like, oh my god, I have to feed tonight. It's gonna be fine. I'll feed tomorrow. They'll be fine. Actually, like you said, good for them a little bit. Give them a little bit of that fasting period, a little bit. Not like they don't have food in their cage, because they do. I leave the food in their cage from last time, so they always have something in the cage. And a lot of times it's still crickets. You guys can kind of hear the crickets going around right now. We just did cricket feeding not too long ago, so it's like not too heavy, not too much Pangea, so a little more bug diet. We'll keep them a little more lean. We'll breed a little bit better. I tried the UVB. It made no difference at all, so I don't recommend the UVB. Not at least in my studies or my experiments have I seen any difference. Um, I have some older animals, like older chewies, that don't produce as frequently as some of the younger female chewies that I have. That's kind of part of the game. It's going to happen as animals get older. They will produce less. Same thing's going to happen to your chewies. You know, if your chewies gave you, let's say, 7 clutches, 8 clutches the first season, or I don't know how many they gave you, 5 clutches. It's going to give you a little bit less the next season, and the year after that, it's going to be a little bit less, and so on and so forth. And then, once they're 15, 20 years old, you might get 3, 4 babies out of them for the season. That's it. You're not going to get any more. That's really how it comes down, unfortunately.
Do you
So as they
do you
get
find
older,
you have do you finally have more success with the 1.2s than you do a 1-1?
not more success, but it is a numbers game. 2 females will always produce more eggs than 1 female. That's really what it comes down to.
Like sometimes, like I've heard with leaf tails, like Sycorays and whatnot, that they do actually keep multiple males in a colony, but the competition between any one of the two genders triggers better breeding, I guess. So I was curious if two females, if they get more anxious or more of a drive to reproduce because they have competition of some sort. I don't know. Just curious. Just those
No,
weird
I mean,
thoughts.
I can't really get into their minds, but from what I can see, they're very like a communal animal. So if there's 1 female there,
Can you hear me? Your volume just went down. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. When it comes to the feeding in the Pangea, I guess I might as well ask. Do you find that any flavor works better than another? Do you feed them anything specific, like flavor specific?
so I have found some animals like certain flavors better, but I don't give them a choice. I rotate flavors every feeding, and whatever flavor they get is whatever flavor they get, and they better be happy with it because I'm not playing that, oh, I don't like this flavor, I don't like that flavor game. So if they don't
I
like
do
the flavor
things
I fed that
crushed
day,
fig in my house, man. They love fig flavored anything.
yeah, we do use a lot of fig. My main ones are fig, insect, papaya, sorry, not papaya, apricot. Sorry, I got a fruit fly trying to kill me. Uh, and then watermelon. Those are our 4 main ones that we use. So watermelon, apricot, the fig, and the insect. I'm looking, they're right here. There's a bunch of them over here. So that's the 4 main ones we use. So one day we'll do fig, one day we'll do insect, so on and so forth. We'll switch it off every feeding. So
Are you
I do
adding
feed a
anything?
different flavor every
Are
feeding.
you adding anything to your mixes? Are you adding like bee pollen, calcium, nothing?
Nope, I don't add anything. I never had to add anything. I've been breeding since 2013. I've been feeding solely Pangea since 2013. I've never had any issues. I had anybody get skinny. Never had anybody crash. I've never had anybody have diarrhea. I've always had great results with the Pangea. And like I said, just rotate the flavors. And if you do just one flavor, after a while, they do get tired of the one flavor, and that's when they start getting picky. So if you're rotating the flavors, when they do get the flavor they like, they eat it all. You know what I mean? They go crazy for it. But when they don't get the flavor they like, they at least eat some of it because they know that they don't know when they're going to get the flavor that they like. You know what I mean? If you're doing just the one single flavor, they're going to like it. You're going to eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. And then one day they're going to be like, I'm tired of this one. I'm not going to eat it. And then for like a week, they won't eat it. You're like, oh my God, my gecko's not eating. Well, because they've been eating the same shit for over 4 months. They don't want to eat anymore. They want something different. So I do find that if you switch the flavor every feeding, it'll keep them more aggressive towards eating, and you'll get better results with growth and size like that for sure. I have some babies that don't eat bugs at all, and they grow to full adults in under 2 years for Cresteds on just Pangea.
For sure. I've had them myself. Do
No
you do
problem.
any type of supplementation? Like for breeding season, are you adding just dusting your bugs? Do you dust your
I do
bugs?
dust my bugs. I do dust my bugs. I use Mineral. It's a sticky tongue product. It's the best one out there. It's got vitamin D3. It's got all the minerals in it. I do sell that on my site. It's the best one out there. Do not even waste your money on anything else. It's the best calcium for tropical reptiles. That's the honest truth. It's good for pretty much anything tropical. I even use it on my chameleon, even though people say don't use vitamin D3 in chameleons every time. So what I do is I'll do like a week of vitamin D3 of mineral dusted bugs for my chameleon, and then I'll do a week with nothing, just the bug, nothing on it. Just gives them a break from the vitamin D3, and that works really well for me. My chameleon has doubled in size in less than a year with no problems, and everybody does really well off of it. But with the other New Caledonian geckos, I always dust with the mineral, and I have great results. It smells like berries, so they like the way that it smells, even, believe it or not. And like I said, we feed off like 5,000-6,000 crickets every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks. And this month
Where do
we
you
did
get all your
actually
crickets
8,000.
from? I know I've asked you before, but where do you buy that many crickets?
At the shows,
You
a
using
lot of
that
these
Gans
vendors.
too?
What's up?
Gans or whatever?
No, I used to order from Gans, and I was having a lot of issues with them coming in dead. And I love people there at Gans. They're great. I still have an account, and they're awesome. But in the really cold months or the really hot months, I was getting a lot of dead, and you end up paying a lot of money for shipping. You actually end up paying more for shipping than you do for crickets. It's crazy. Like I think my
I've
bill
never
was
used
$98
them.
for crickets, and then my shipping was $98. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. Picking up at shows definitely helps out, and I'll
Should.
pre I'll pre-order them the week before the show, and the guy will just come drop them off my table. I don't gotta do anything. I don't gotta go nowhere. I just Venmo him, and I'm happy. He's happy. I always take 5,000 crickets, and I usually do a show every 2-3 weeks. So perfect. It usually ends up working out. And even if it's early,
Oh,
I'll take the crickets. I'll keep them alive for a week, and I'll feed them the following week. Keeping crickets alive,
oh
it's easy.
yeah.
Just put them in a real big bin with a bunch of egg crates and throw a carrot in there once a week. You'll be fine. That's it.
I get. I buy. I have been buying them lately. I switched back over from banded crickets to house crickets, but I get them from Flukers, man. I for like $26. I get 1,000 sent to my door. Never even have a dead. I never have a dead cricket in the box. Not one.
So you
Not
like
one.
the regular ones better than the bandit?
They're bigger, man. They get a
They are
lot
bigger.
bigger.
They are bigger,
They get a
100%.
lot bigger. To be completely honest, man, this is my right hand to God, dude. I don't know why I stopped feeding these house crickets versus the banded crickets. I can't remember what the reason was.
I do.
I
They stink.
yeah, they
They
don't
stink a
last
little bit
long, man.
more
Like I
than the
said, I'm
bandit.
going through 1,000 a week, man. 1,000 is gone, and I'm literally I run through 1,000 a week, man. And
That's good. That's why your animal is so big so fast, because you do a lot of
I
bugs.
keep them on. I keep them on vermiculite. You know, I keep them dry. I'm constantly using new egg crates every time a new batch comes in. I get a new batch every week, which I probably don't need to do. But
You're a little OCD, but it's okay. It doesn't hurt.
yeah, I am. I
It
have a
doesn't hurt.
system, but my gecko room is in my house. So my cleaning doesn't ever stop. Do I need to clean as much as I do? I don't. I don't. But I'm weird, man.
Listen, I'm very big on cleaning too. Um, I'll be honest. I've seen some people's collections, and they're gross. And I
Me too,
pride
man.
myself on
Me
how much
too.
I'm cleaning. We have
Me too.
cleaning going on every day. Today was feeding, and we still cleaned after we fed. So
That's what I'm saying.
it
I don't
means you
suggest people
guys are
clean as
always
much as
cleaning and
I
feeding.
do, but I see some stuff and I'm like, how is that even acceptable type shit? Like, would you want to
I
live in that
recently,
room? Would you keep your dog in a cage like that? Would you keep your kid in a pen like that? Like,
I
clean
saw
that
something.
fucking thing.
I think something. I don't even want to say too much because I don't want to, start shit with anybody. But all I gotta say is, I could not continue watching that live. I had to go off because the way they kept their geckos was worse than I keep my roaches. And I'm
See?
like, I'm not. I couldn't watch it anymore. I literally turned it off because I
Yeah.
couldn't watch it anymore.
People got too accustomed to thinking it's okay, I guess. I really don't even know what I don't know
No,
what to
you know what
say.
I think it is? I think people get too big of collections too quickly, and they don't realize how much work it is, and they get overwhelmed really, really quickly, and then they're fighting to keep everything clean. And the way that they're doing it, it's not easy. So, for example, I keep my sarasinorum on the cypress mulch mixed with cocoa because if I kept on paper towels, I have to clean every 2 weeks. Because I do that, if I did that, then we'd never have any time to do anything. We'd be cleaning like crazy. So I keep them on the and with a lay box, you know what I mean? So I keep them on that jungle mix on the floor because that absorbs some of the poop and some of the pee and everything else like that. That also acts like a lay box. So I put so much of it in there, but that also saves me have to clean every 14 days. So instead, we have a system. Everything is clean between 21 to 25 days. That extra 6, 7 days, that extra week is huge because that's extra week we can get other stuff clean.
And the whole
Everything.
thing out? You dumping the whole
Yeah,
netting out and replacing it?
yeah. Every 21 to 25 days we replace all the
Oh
bedding, all
shit.
the cages, and actually I reuse the bedding for my chicken coop, so I don't waste it. And it
Awesome.
goes in my chicken coop, and I use it in my chicken coop for probably about 2, 3 months, and then I dump
Very
it to
cool.
the township here where they have a compost pile. I dump it to the compost pile after the chickens already dug through it and had their fun. I
Very
give it to
cool.
the township.
I miss
That's it.
chickens, man. I used to have chickens. I used to live down in the city, like in the middle of the city, dude, in Stanford, Connecticut. And like right downtown, dude, and I had fucking had chickens, dude.
Oh, we have a lot of chickens. If I do anything, I always do things big. If I had a bunch of geckos, I go big with the geckos. I recently got to plants. I'm growing all kinds of crazy. I'm looking at a red variegated banana plant I got in this week that I'm super excited about. I got to plant it. It's a nice pot. So
No
anything
shit.
I do big. With the chickens, I have, I think, 19 chickens, and we have, I think, eight or
What
nine
kind of
different
chickens do you have?
species. What?
What'd you get? What kind of chickens did you get?
Oh, I have a lot of different type of chicken. Well, my favorite, one of my favorites is definitely my chicken. I call him Little Dude. He's a Millie Floor. I was about to say it wrong. Millie Floor, where he's like orange and yellow and white, all kinds of different colors. But he's a Bantam. He's this big. He's just a small
Is
rooster.
it Bantam? Yeah, yeah. I
He's a
never
fat,
got
he's
into the
tiny.
Bantams.
Dude, he's the funniest
Never
guy in
got
the
into the
world.
Bantams.
So,
Do you
he's
know the
so
black
good.
skin?
I
Oh, you
have,
do?
send him my number. If he needs some, my buddy who I got mine from has got a ton of them. He'll send him down some.
He breeds. That's what he does. He has thousands of them.
Maybe he wants a different bloodline. I don't know. We got some over here in Jersey. We'll send it to him.
Up in a
Well,
heartbeat.
something like that. I
Something
can't
like
say.
that. Yeah. Something
I have
like
one
that.
male rooster and then two females like that. They're pretty cool. And then a bunch of other different type of bedrocks and this and that, and all variety of different
I
chickens.
had Rhode Island Reds.
Yeah,
I had the Rhode Island Reds. I had the fuck, I forgot the name, but they're like black and white speckled
yeah,
hens.
those are bedrock. I have those too.
Okay. So I had those, and then my roosters. Believe it or not, I wound up going. I know some anything roosters. I was down in the Bronx on Jerome Ave over there, and I went into a couple of the meat markets, and I just buy live roosters. I see like full grown badass roosters. Like it's a shame. Like I can't let them die. Like it takes a while for a rooster to turn into a rooster, right? Like
Yeah.
so I'd go down there and feel bad. He's green and gold, all green with a big gold head. And man, I had a couple badass roosters, man. I had to keep them away from the hens, but fucking cool. Yeah. All right, so we're over the hour, man. We're coming up to the end here. Is there any announcements you have for BB's? What do you got going on over at BB's? Some shows, Palm Streets. Let us
Hell
know
yeah.
what you got going on, how we can support you, where we can find you. Read us the BB's app.
Definitely follow us on Instagram and Facebook for sure. We're going to be doing a double, not this weekend, the following weekend, Lebanon and Capital City. I don't know if you want to come up to Capital City, it's Albany. If you want to come up over there, it's going to be a pretty cool show. We spend the night there Saturday and then Sunday morning getting up and doing the show. Not this Tuesday coming up because we just did a Palm Street this past Tuesday and it was nuts. We sold like 80 geckos, a lot of baby crested geckos, a lot of baby gargoyles. It was nuts. And we did one Saturday after this past show. We had Oaks this past Saturday. So we did back-to-back palm trees this past week, and I'm exhausted, honestly. Yesterday packing, we packed, I think, 40 boxes. It was crazy. That's the most I've ever packed in my life, bro. I've never had that many boxes go out in one day. It was absolutely nuts. I got a buddy of mine
Good for
comes from
you.
PA, drives for me 2 hours just to help me pack boxes. So Palm Street, not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday, 7 p.m. I'm not sure what date that's going to be, because I don't have a calendar in front of me. But we're going to be doing it every other Tuesday. We're going to be doing a Palm Street starting 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. That's because I like Tuesdays, no other reason. We will be announcing them on our Facebook page and our Instagram. And of course, I'm on my personal Facebook. After that, we have shows pretty much every 2 weeks. We have 33 shows this year we're doing. Pretty much booked all year. I've had a lot of people message me about me doing new shows, and honestly, I need my weekends. Family got to have weekends too. So whatever shows I already have booked is whatever shows I'm going to be doing. I'm not taking on any new shows at the moment currently. I recently had an email just the other day, me going to Pittsburgh and doing a show. I just can't. I already do a show every 2 to 3 weekends. Sometimes I do every other weekend. So I'm going to be doing the 33 shows I'm doing this year. They're all posted on my website. We just recently revamped our website. We recently got new shirts. Our new shirts are pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's our regular logo in the front, but then the back says, Luigi got your back. You see it?
I love it.
So
Love
definitely
it.
go on our website, get your new shirts. We got all different sizes right now. We've been giving away these drawstring bags. Do I have any drawstring bags anywhere? Yeah, I got one right here.
When's the next time you're in White Plains?
White Plains is next
Yes.
month, April 13th, I believe it is. Yeah, I think it's April 13th.
April's over.
Uh,
We're in May.
April's over. June 13th. June 13th, I think it is.
Funny story, right? Is I've been getting my nephew into crested geckos. He's seen what I do. He loves it. He loves reptiles, but now he's kind of like honed into crested geckos, and I don't want to say new cow, crested geckos. And he's starting his little business, his little brand, his little whatever. So he comes up to me and he was like, calls me. He's like, man, I went to White Plains show. He was like, who's that BB's Crested Gecko place, man? They take the whole stage. That's what I want to be. I want to have a business like that. I'm like, no shit, huh, kid? I'm like, my friend. That's my friend's company, man. It's
That's
just
pretty
funny to
funny.
hear him say, he didn't know that I know you, didn't know anything. He went to the White Plains show and saw
Dude, the
this
White Plains
table and
show,
was like, that's what I want to be.
the White Plains
Funny.
show is where it's at, man. The White Plains show is what helped me get started in this business. They let me get a table in the back of the annex room in the corner, literally in the corner. And little by little, I worked my way out of that corner, and I got across from me, I got a double table like that, so I had 3 tables now. And then during COVID, they closed down. So after COVID, I kept on rocking in that annex room. I didn't care. Everybody wanted to be up on the stage. Everybody wanted to be in the main room. I said, let me just keep it in my little room, keep my little thing going on. The whole room used to be empty. My table used to be all full. The whole room was empty. That's how it used to be in the annex room. And then during COVID, they let me get a spot on the stage. That's all that was available. The main floor. Everybody always wants the main floor, and people never give up those spots. So I said, I guess I'll take the spot on the stage. Whatever. It was on the side of the stage, on the right side. You can't really even see me there. But I said, listen, I'm gonna rock it. Whatever. It's better than being in the annex. So one day, the main guy in the front of the stage didn't show up. And like, Boris, can you fill that spot? I was like, hell yeah, I can fill that spot. I can make it look beautiful too. And I filled that spot. They charged me for my regular 3 or 4 tables that I had, and they gave me the other 2 tables for free. I filled those 6 tables like it was nobody's business, and I made it look great. And the following show, the vendor didn't renew, and they're like the tables are yours if you want them. I was like, yeah, I guess so. It's meant to be.
That's
I'm a drummer.
awesome.
I'm always meant to be main stage.
That's awesome.
So I guess I'm in the middle, main stage.
How many people when you go to a show like that? How many employees do you have? How many people do you have working for you?
I do try to have at least one guy per two tables because we do got to watch. Unfortunately, at White Plains, stuff does get swiped sometimes. They even made an announcement right before this past White Plains, like, listen, be careful. There was a card show there the weekend before, and somebody literally walked up and just took someone's cash box and walked out of the building. White Plains gets a little crazy.
Like on your setup, have you thought about? And I mentioned this. I don't know who I was talking to. Have you thought about hooking up like a wireless camera system on your table?
Yeah, we do have some cameras. We have been putting out some cameras in some of these bigger shows.
Say anything else more about it? I was just saying, just for
no, yeah.
your guys' safety and reasons
No,
wise. I mean, I think if people know they're on film and you could get your ass put on blast for stealing something that you could easily just go get a job and buy.
Yeah,
I think
we do have wireless cameras, especially at White Plains. Unfortunately, we had to get some. We had
that stuff kind of stuff, sucks for people when they want to go and I would never steal anything in my life. Like, and if I walk over to a table and I hate to say this, and I got to ask for someone to take a net down or something for me to pick up a cup and look at an animal, like I walk away. I'm like, see you later. I respect it, but I'm not going to bother them. I'm just going to keep it moving.
It sucks, but unfortunately, sometimes you got to do it. At Long Island, I had an issue with some young Indian kids. They stole some stuff off my table. I had an inclination that they did it, so I had the people who were running the show check their school bag. And yep, they had two of my geckos in their school bag. And then they got all in my face about it. I'm like, dude, you stole from me. What the fuck is your problem? You stole from me. I didn't steal from you. So it is unfortunate. It does happen. Where there's good, there's bad. There's good and bad in all people. So unfortunately, I met some young punk kids that wanted to steal. I got my geckos back. That's all that mattered. And they got kicked out of the show, and that's it. And I know what they look like, so if I see them back at that show, I'm going to ask them to kick them out again. That's it.
Do these shows ever have like security? Like, is there like security that works for the venues and whatnot?
Yeah, of course there's security. Yeah,
I never see them. No, they're not somebody I'm looking for.
Cop on duty all day.
Okay, good.
And the one time I did have the girl steal a hoodie off my table at White Plains, the cops just let them go though because they said, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna put them in jail over a $50 hoodie?" I'm like, "No, but they should get at least a slap on the wrist to know that they shouldn't be doing this shit. A warning, something."
You didn't go and steal a sweatshirt and then do what? Wear it and say you stole? Like what?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Unfortunately, that's what happens.
It boils down to raise your kids right, people. Be good parents, man. If you have children, I promise you cannot rewind the hands of time. Raise your kids the right way, man. Teach these children respect, honesty, hard work. We wouldn't want this stuff happening to us, man. I mean, this is just getting old. When I was a kid, you would have never. These are things you never heard of at White Plains. I grew up going to this White Plains show. I mean, in the early '90s, man. Like I was a child. There was no one ever.
How far are you from the Albany show?
Stealing shit. Huh?
Yeah, how far are you from the Albany show?
Probably how far is Albany? 2 hours, probably. Hour and a half. 2 hours.
You should go. It's going to be a fun time.
Maybe. It's a possibility. There's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on in my family. I mean, not to be all public about it, but my mother-in-law just passed the other day, so.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, don't be. But it's still a lot of drama. My wife's got 8 brothers and sisters. There's just a lot of shit going on, man. So I can't really just. We'll see. I mean, if I have enough time. I mean, I really wanted to go to Flora Fauna, and she wanted to pass on this past Saturday morning.
Oh man.
So, I mean, I was all geared up to go. I wake up, my wife's like, I found my mother dead.
Damn. Sorry to hear that, bro.
Hey, there's life and there's death. What you do with in between is up to you, right?
Enjoy your life while you have it. It is not given, it's taken.
Facts, man. Facts. People underestimate the how short it is and the value of it, right? Like there is no rewind button. Some things that there isn't a next time. There's not always a next time. I'll do better next time, or I'll do this next time. I mean, it's I could have a whole podcast just on that. I'd rather not even get into it. Life's short, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy these animals.
Exactly.
Treat
Life's
these
short.
animals well.
Enjoy it. Get
Their
as many
lives are
geckos as you
short
want.
too.
That's right. Life is short. Enjoy it while you're here, and get as many geckos while you're here. That's it.
Hell yeah, man. If it's what makes you happy, if these geckos genuinely make you happy, like not for nothing, but these geckos are my life, right? Like they're what I
Dude, they
do.
make
I
me
don't know how to
happy.
explain it to people. It's like
I'm
some
never, people say, oh, when are you going to retire? I don't think I'm ever going to retire from breeding geckos. I don't care how old I'm going to be. I'm still making some cool ass geckos.
it's
And
a
I'm
great
gearing my
retirement
projects
plan,
up
not for
every
nothing.
year.
Great retirement plan.
And
If, uh,
I make my groups better and better every year. Just 2 weeks ago, not this a week ago. A week ago, I took out all my gargoyles. I have 40 groups of gargoyles, Anthony. I took them all out and I fine tuned all my groups. Pulled females out of here, made them better, made that group better, made an orange stripe group, made a red stripe group, made an orange blotch group, made a red blotch group, just switching stuff around, moving stuff around, and making bettering my production because my groups are better. And then I also put together 4 new groups from animals that I grew up and raised up and able to put together now. Some crazy red stuff too. Crazy
I
red.
just made. Well, I didn't, still didn't even put them together, but I finally just got a male guard to put to this female that I've had for 2 years. I just never got into the whole guard thing, man. But I had
Oh
this
man, there's so
female,
many
and I'm
different
like,
morphs of gargs. You'll get into them, man. There's so many cool gargs, so many different characteristics to them, so many different phenotypes. It's so cool. Same like Cresteds are. Same how Cresteds have all different type of you know patterns and morphs depending on what it is and so on and so forth. Same thing with guards. You'll get into it. You just got to find some cool guards you like, and you'll
oh,
get
wow,
into
I like,
it.
believe it or not, though, I like black and white stuff, and I like
Yeah,
orange and yellow stuff. The red
I
stuff to
put
me
together a really
seems
nice
like
yellow
everyone
reticulated
else
group.
has got the
I have
red stuff
one
under
yellow
control.
female. She's like highlighter yellow, dude. She's gorgeous.
Really?
And I
Oh,
have this like
shit.
really yellow male. I started a group with that. I had a really phenomenal yellow group at one point, a killer group.
Really?
I paid big money for it too, and I don't know what it was, dude. One day, I find 2 of them dead in the cage. I don't know if they came with a disease or something wrong with them. It was like maybe a couple of weeks after I had them, maybe 3-4 weeks, and one day just dead, 2 of them in the cage, and I had just 2 single females, and they ended up just going into random groups. I think that's actually the one that I pulled out. But yeah, man, it was sad. I paid big money for it. It's just part of the game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
My next thing is a fucking Exantic, bro. It's been way too long, man, and I need an Exantic crested gecko,
I have,
like so bad. I want one. I just I
I
got
have
two.
toys.
Don't you need 2 hets? Don't you need 2 het Exantics to make a visual?
Yeah,
Yeah. See, so one does
I
nothing
definitely
for
will
me.
have some visuals for you this season, my brother. I just sold off all my Exantics. I have, I think, one left, which is a lily white Exantic female. I had so many Exantics. They all sold. Palm Street on the SEO.
One visual Exantic can make more Exantics, right?
You got a visual to visual.
Really? So you can't even just have one. You got to have a visual to a visual.
Yeah, or
Or hat
visual
to
to
hat. So
100% het.
it's a what's the name of that? It's not a single
It's a
dominant
co-dominant.
like a
It's
crested guy, like
dominant.
a lily.
It's a dominant trait, not like a lily. The dominant trait, so you need both to make another one, or you need 100% het. Let's like the Mel. Mel's a dominant trait as well, melanistic. So same thing.
Huh. See, so that's what it's like. That's
Yeah, man.
it's not as easy as it sounds. All right, I get it. All right, brother. It was
Sarah's
a
awesome.
blast talking to you.
Yeah, man, for sure. Always call me anytime.
Yeah, just hang on for a second. Make sure this uploads, and I'll talk to you for a second after I end the recording, guys. I appreciate all the support, man. I love every single one of you. Stay tuned. I got a lot of cool guests coming up. If you have any requests, anybody you want to talk to, anybody you want to see here, let me know. I'll get them on. We have Brian from Altitude coming on. We have Flawless Crested Geckos is coming tomorrow. I have some cool people lined up. Who? Will from Flawless? Yeah, they're coming on tomorrow. Will and Audrey are coming on tomorrow. But drop suggestions, guys. I'm not scared to ask any of them. Do you want to talk to them? Do you want to see them on screen? I'll get them.
You want to see me again? Let me know. I'll come and again. No problem.
It's my boy, man. Friend of mine, personal friend. It's a little different. I mean, I wound up becoming friends with most of these guys after I talked to them, but our relationship goes a little pre-podcast. All right, guys. Appreciate every single one of you, man. Don't forget it.
Thanks,
Catch you in the
everybody.
next one.
I'll see you soon, brother.